Hello, everyone. Sargon, Destroyer of Worlds here, and thank you for joining me again here in another episode of City Skylines. And we're back here in Bytown, and we are at one of the four death care cemetery builds that we did in our last episode. As you see, it's quite busy here, even though it's later in the evening, because citizens never rest. And it's actually a nice little area. We've got, the custom, the realistic working cemetery assets here from the workshop. This nice one here from the, I believe it's the Villa Park kit. And, a couple over here. And I think this has turned out really well. And we do have our crematorium. And once again, this is an asset from the workshop. It is the better crematorium. And I think it's good to have. And some people over here who I don't know how this RP is going to get out. I do love having the custom assets, these vehicle assets from the workshop as well. But I do wish the AI was just a tad a little better about parking. But that's fine. That's fine. It's fine. So today's episode, we're not working over here. We're going to be working over expanding campus housing outside of our campus, obviously. So let's get over there right now. We are over at our campus, and it's coming along. Now, we have mainly concentrated in this area of the build. We have 6 dorms, the outdoor study hall with it expanded. Come down here, we've got off of, I believe this is the bookstore, some nice little areas, as well as a nice wooded area. And of course our cafeteria. But what we want to do is expand campus housing, and that's in reality it's real normal housing, but because the fact that our population is kind of stagnated here, and if we actually look at the campus requirements, we actually took a big dip after I turned off some of the policies here. So if we come in here, I did turn off the educational boost. So if we're going to expand our campus area, we're going to have to do something with our population of Bytown. And as you can see, we got a significant residential demand, and as well as a bit of commercial demand. Now, we could build it over here. I'd rather keep this right now for campus area. So we have this area over here. We will reserve a part of this for expanding the campus out. So let's have a look. For us to expand this area first, we're gonna have a look at our terrain. And as you can see, we have definitely a grade change here. We have this collector coming over here. We have just a normal road coming up over here. And we have to think about, what else might we want to do? I would think it would make sense if there's a connection to the highway here. And as well, if we hit the right key, there we go. And as well, we would want to have the ability to bridge over the river and come across this side as well. And of course, continue to expand if we wish on this area over here. So we're going to come in, we're going to take our picker tool. We're going to select our collector. We're going to make sure, we're on the ground. And we will have this kind of come straight out. And you will notice there is definitely a grade here. So let's just make sure. Oh, no, we are elevated. So we're going to come down. We're going to remove the elevation. Let's try that again. Come to ground. And there we go. And the other thing is we will look at where would we want this to cross. So we're going to have it come across, let's say here. And we'll come back and we'll look at redoing this at a future point. But for now, we'll leave it here. Now I'm going to go to the freeform tool, because I do want to add a little bit of interest to this collector coming through here. And we'll have it come down to about here. Now I'm going to stop here simply because we're going to have to worry about the terrain, and it's not necessary at this point. You know, what would have been helpful though is if I would have turned off tree anarchy. So let's just come in with our forest brush here, make it a little bigger, and just a tad bigger, and we're just gonna zip along and remove all these trees. And with that, we do need to make sure we can connect. We're going to connect the collector, and what we will do is we're going to come off 9 degrees, and let's do a little bend. There we go. Now, the other thing we'll want to do is we're going to come in with our landscaping, and we will use the level terrain. Kind of expand that a little bit, just to kind of push that out. And we'll use our soften terrain tool just to kind of smooth things out around here. There we go. I think that works. Now, so the next thing we're going to do is with our picker tool, we're going to select this road here. We're going to turn on the terrain, and we are going to follow the terrain along here. Yeah, let's come in down here. There we go. There we go. I think that works quite well. So we do have this road running along here. This will feed the campus area down on this level, but we're not done. So we will come in to our roads, and we're going to take this 2-lane 2-road with a median, and we are going to look to make this a mini collector. So once again, we'll come in and look at our terrain. And I think before we do that, we will move some soil around here just to smooth things out just a tad. Just soften that up a bit, and there we go. So with that, we're going to come in with actually, and before we actually put that little mini collector down, I'm going to come into our roads, not our paths. Let's take a regular 2-lane road. So we have that set up there. It's just a placeholder for now. And with that, we're now going to find our middle ground of 25 units. So now that we got our 25 units marked out, we're going to upgrade this road here and connect this to our collector up here. And we're going to continue this down, and we'll stop it there for now. And with this, we can now run. In fact, I'm going to have to delete this. We do want to make sure we're leaving enough space. And that's because 4 units is deep enough for one house. We want to go 9 though. Sorry, it's 11. We want to go 11. Remove these trees here, these stumps that are on this map that absolutely detest. Now with that, that allows us to have a nice area kind of filled in. Once again, we'll come back to our landscaping brush. And actually, I think what we're going to do is, let's just make sure. We're going to take advantage of move it. We're going to click on our nodes only. And we're actually going to bring this down to terrain height. There we go. That's much better. We're going to work with the terrain as opposed to fighting against it. So now with this, we're going to come in and we are going to paint a district. So we have the beginnings of this district. And before we actually put down any housing, we're going to come in with our zoning adjuster, and we're going to take zoning off of the collector, off of this mini collector, and same thing for now on these side streets. We'll come in and actually before let's just find our districts. We're going to come into Willow Heights here. We're going to come into our theme manager, enable themes, and the one we're going to use is one we have set up here. Let's just show all included. It's all the college assets. So we're going to come in and we're going to enable University City. And that will allow those homes to be built. And we're just going to mass zone this area. We do need to ensure we have water. The next thing we need to do is make sure we got power. So we're going to take our suburban power line and we're going to run that parallel. And just because we can, we're going to come into our network multi-tool and we're going to do parallel. Come in right along here. And we have a beautiful parallel line going. Now let's just double check to see if that caught power. It has. So this means this area should start filling in, which is exactly what we want. Now while that's going on, we're going to come in and take our picker tool. We will now just double check, make sure with our terrain on. We will force this to the ground, and we are going to reduce the actual height so that as it comes through here, we'll come down -4. Make sure we're on freeform. And we're going to go underneath this bridge. Now, does this give us a different layer of height? It will allow us to connect what is going to be the expansion of Grove College here to another area besides just coming in from this street here as well. But they won't come directly off the collector here, but we will have something here. But we do need to make sure that they can also get down. So we're gonna use once again our, I should say down from this little mini area here. So we will come in and we can make sure this is a little closer. I think that works there. And we will freeform this down. I think that's looking pretty good. Now, for some reason, we're not getting any growth out over here. Let's have a look-see. See what we can figure out what we've missed. Oh, it's because I see what's happening. We'll come in here. We are going to put housing right along here. And there we go. You can see the power's caught. And now this neighborhood will start to grow, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now, the other thing you'll notice is we did leave a space between the homes, and that is to allow us to come in with a path. And we're just going to come in and we will use behind here the nature reserve path. And we'll just connect up all these path opportunities. So even though we have the pass here and we do have this mini collector kind of coming down, connecting to this road here, which will once again be more campus build, I do want to have an opportunity for pedestrians to kind of walk down here and also eventually get over to the quay. So once again, we'll come into our pass, and this time we'll continue using our trade school path. And we will just provide a nice... Actually, let's come up here and we will... Forget we don't have the freeform tool on. We'll come down. And we will provide a connection opportunity. And there's guaranteed. I will always double click using the curve tool. There we go. We have a nice little path network coming down. And I think this will turn out relatively nice. And I think the other one we will do is let's add an opportunity for people to kind of come down from this side too. And we'll just use move it to kind of adjust that. And we can come in with the network multi-tool and we can, oh, wrong one. We want no controller, and we will change this to bend, and that awkwardness goes away. The other thing we'll do is we'll come up and we will move this up. And once again, we'll just use the bend. There we go. Much, much better. So this little off-campus neighborhood is coming along. In fact, you'll notice that it's zapped all of our residential demand. So let's just have a look at our land values. As you can see, they're quite low over here. We just click on a house. You can kind of see that, well, yeah, wow, our death care is doing really great, but there's no other services over here. There's some access to a high school, no access to elementary or transit. So those are all things we can work on. So let's work on ensuring we do have a little node of services over here, you know, from healthcare to police to fire. And I think what would make sense in this area, we can start thinking this will be a little commercial node. And I could easily see this kind of being like a little mini collector to service this area. That we can come in and we can add in some emergency services. Let's have a look-see. This is one of my favorite fire station assets. So we're going to place that down. Come in for police services. So we'll come in and we'll select this little rural one. Now we'll just make sure we've got water extending down here. That works quite well. And actually, in fact, we're going to replace this one. Let's come up with something better. Yeah, I think these ones work a little better here. The same type of brick styling. You can kind of see that these would be made around the same time. And we're going to have to build this out, and we'll come back to that. Oh, that's none too soon. Turn in the station? No. You need to come out. I know. Oh, and thankfully we have our fire helicopters coming in, taking care of these fires. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is not good. Yeah, I would turn around too and go someplace else. And I'm not exactly sure where you're going. Apparently driving through the police station. The cop doesn't mind. Okay. You do you. So thankfully the fires are out. We're doing well. But obviously we do need to do a little bit of commercial development. So let's come in and build a nice little parking lot off this area to kind of make sure it makes sense. And we want to respect a barrier here as well. So I could see coming off of this road here, let's use the big parking lots. We're going to come in and we're going to take our drive road. Apparently I accidentally placed something. Take our drive road. Make sure we're on straight. Oh, turned off node snapping. Maybe that's what happened earlier. So we have node snapping on. Let's make sure our angle is back on. We'll come up, let's come up 5. And then we'll come around with our border. Now before we move on, we're going to come in with Move It, the marquee tool, and we're going to make sure all this is at the same height as this. We'll bring it up nice and level, perfect. And I think the other thing we're going to come and do is we're going to take a drive road and we're going to make another connection right here. And there we have it. So I think that's looking good. Now we can come in and add a little bit of commercial. And we will add, actually, before we move on, let's make sure we add in our parking. So with our parking lot done, let's go in to find it. We're going to come into our growables and we're going to pick low density commercial, look at custom assets. And we're just going to put in some commercial that I think would be fitting. So I think having an IHOP, Shoppers Drug Mart for my non-Canadian friends, that is a pharmacy and it usually has a little food stuff. I think Five Guys makes a lot of sense along here as well. I think a Wild Wings or a Buffalo Grill also makes a lot of great sense. And a Jack in the Box. Just make sure, okay, that is actually a drive-through, but the asset is set up to work that way. So that works for me as well. I think we could look at a Sobeys as well, which is a Canadian grocery store. And the last thing, let's come in and put in a McDonald's. And so we can start looking at moving these assets around. But before we do, let's make sure everybody's happy with the water situation. And this should help start solving some of our commercial needs that we have. See a low density commercial. We've got workers coming in, which is good. So let me just move these around and finding a great layout, and we'll be right back. Now that we have our commercial in, we might look for one more asset to put next to the Five Guys. I did get rid of the Jack in the Box with the drive-through because I didn't think it really fit this parking lot, and I tried to fit it here, but it's definitely not wide enough. So what we'll do is I want to come in and you'll see there's some of these have, oh, in fact, is that a drive-through? It does have a drive-through. Okay, so we're gonna make this drive-through work, including, man, really need to get a McDonald's. I get it. To make this work in two ways, we are going to come in and we are going to run a 1U one-way road behind all of this, and we will come all the way down and we will connect. We will also run right next to this here. And unfortunately we got node snapping on. And this is going to be a problem. Let me see if I can just sort this out. So I've come in and placed an A and W instead. We have moved some assets around and we'll see. Oh, that's a little more problematic. So I think what we're just going to do instead is we're just going to give all these assets some room to breathe. See if we can back the IHOP up all the way. That works. There we go. And we can leave that there. That works. So we'll come in with our surface painter. Just come in with a nice small brush. Reduce the strength, and we'll fill in all that area. We don't want all this. Solve this in the tearing. I think the 1U roads just have a bit of a problem. We'll just come in with our concrete brush. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come with our marquee tool, and we are just going to make sure all this is the same height. So we do have a little bit of tearing here, so maybe coming in with our terraform brush, we'll solve this. Yeah, as you can see, there's a big dip right there. Come in with move it. We're going to back up. Give the shoppers just a little more room to breathe. We just need to come back in with our concrete surface tool brush, and that works quite well. Now, we're still short workers, and as you can see, wow, just in a short time frame, this entire community has filled in. Now, I have left some space here, and the reason for that is we are going to put some more housing here. We will kind of keep this a little broken. We will leave a spot for a path connection there as well. And we can kind of come in here, we're just going to. We're going to come in here and put some more housing there as well. Now, the other part of this is you notice there's a pretty big slope here. Well, let's have a look at that. Let's come back in because we do need to add some more housing. That's a pretty steep decline, so we're not going to put any on there right now, but we will come in. We're going to grab this road here, come back and put on the terrain, come in, and guaranteed. What a nice little curved road there. And the reason for that is I do want to add in some interesting buildings here and a little higher density. I think this area can definitely support it. Turn off the concrete, get off commercial. We're going to come into our high density because I need vanilla. So we're going to turn our vanilla on. In the Green Cities assets, we have some really nice, interesting buildings. So let me pull them out and show you. So we have these Green City towers. Now, the nice thing is we can actually make an interesting design, and we have 3 heights. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this one. We're going to move him over here. Oh, because I'm on picker. So we're going to, which we do want multiple buildings of this. So we're going to take this and we're going to make a nice, interesting design. So this you do require move it. If we come in, we can just place a couple. We'll use move it again. And we're going to line these up. Now, what we're going to have to do is make sure all of these are at the same height. So we'll come in and we're going to pick object terrain height. The other thing we'll have to come in and do is we will have to come in and make sure all the colors are the same. But for now, we're just going to take this 4 buildings and we're going to move it Move it, move it. We're going to move this one to the corner. Then stare in the sun. In fact, we're going to back that up just a tad to give it a little more room to breathe. And now we're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to take this building here. And we have this one further away because we obviously have a single family home development over here. And we just need 4 of these. And once again, we'll just make a nice little design as we did here. Now that we have our various buildings placed, and you notice the nice staggered heights, with the shortest building being closest to single family homes, and then as they grow in height back further away. Now we are going to have to come in and add some parking. So we will use our parking lot roads for this one. So we're going to come in and we do need a service road. And first off, we're going to come in off of this parking lot. Make sure all our snap twos are on. And we'll drive one right across. Actually, that might be a bit of a mistake. We'll see. We'll see how much cut through traffic we get. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to fill in a large part of this with, obviously, with parking here. And we will fit in a number of parking lots of various sizes. Make sure we turn off snapping. Then we can fix this one here. And what we can do as well, we can expand this one as well as this one a little further in. In fact, let's see if we can get this one just a little closer. There we go. I think that works well. And we're adding a bunch of parking, just given the number of residences that now will be here. So we're going to come in and we will run once again and we do need snapping on. And we can drive that all the way through. And we will run in front of this building here, parking. And we can come in and we will actually look to move. We'll move this parking lot just back a bit. So we're going to move that down. I think that works well. And then what we can do is we'll squeeze in one more. And we don't want, obviously, that to connect through. Now, you might think this is a bit overkill for parking, but I personally believe, given the number of residences that we have in here, that it's going to be very much needed. We will, in the detailing time lapse, come back in and add in the stalls. For now, we're just going to fill this entire area in. We won't have any specific green space. There we go. Nice and tidy. So I think this works pretty well. Now, what's not working well is the heights here. So let's come in. We'll use move it. We're going to grab the buildings and the nodes all in this area here. And we're going to bring them all to a single height. And that might have been a bit of a mistake, but we're going to feather that out. I think that's probably our best bet. We'll come in, and we weren't fully respecting the topography, but we'll make this work. We'll come in, and then with our slope or a soften tool, let's not be so aggressive there. It's too aggressive. We'll come in, and that's the level train. Let's try that again. We'll come in and soften things. I think that works quite well. Now, this is kind of turned into pretty steep. Let's see if we can resolve this. Ooh. That's an 11% grade. Just make sure your brakes are working when coming down. From a walking perspective, that's fine. From a driving perspective, not so much. So I think we'll have to do a quick rethink of that height adjustment and see if we can step that down just a bit. I've come in and adjusted things. I've moved all the buildings down, so we've got just under an 8% grade. I think we can live with that. Now with that, we're just going to come back in with our soften tool and we will smooth this area out just a tad to deal with the fact that we did some terrain shiftment. So this is looking good. Now, before we finish things off and jump to a quick detailing time lapse, we do need to have a look at a few things. So we're going to come out of this and we're going to have a look at the fact that this is a building that is screaming for a few things. I think we're going to have to upgrade our police department, but as well, we don't have any healthcare in this area, which I do believe is complete. And I would agree. We are missing that simply because, you know, this is a university area and they deserve some healthcare. So let's come in and we will add a few things into this area. So we're going to come in and add a little post office in here. Now, this doesn't exactly work with the design that we have. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and we are going to do a 1U road both ways. But as well, we do need to make sure, you know, traffic is properly serviced in this building. So once again, we're going to do a 2-lane road, but then we will continue our 1U road around the backside because we do have, you know, delivery area out back, and this will help with some of our land value issues. So the other thing we need to do is come in and do some brush size, and we are going to add in our concrete. So that's one thing that's going to help with our land value. The next thing is we need to come into our emergency services and we need to have a look to see if we can find ourselves a nice little healthcare. So instead of a healthcare clinic, we are going to put an asset that we haven't used before, and that's this little ambulance station. And you can see everybody's extremely happy. So this will provide healthcare, although not specifically a clinic. But this kind of works in the node that we have our fire station, an ambulance, and a little police station here. So this will definitely serve this community and make folks happy. Now, how happy are they? They're getting happier. But we still could do better. The low land value area is going to have definitely some challenges. So we're going to have to continue working on that by adding school and public transit. So, but that will be in our next episode. So let's just jump into a quick detailing time lapse and we'll be right back. We're just finishing up our detailing here, and just like I did on the other side, we're going to come and we're going to put a nature's path, and I envision this just as the other side. It's kind of a, one of those paths that just kind of form. It's not actually obviously a paved path. So we're just going to decorate this up just a little bit. And since we're going to use some of my favorite trees here, an oak, and we'll come in and just get some of this vegetation along here as well. But we will come in, and I have started becoming fond of this cluster of bushes, as you've seen. And we're just gonna frame that so you can kind of see people have started sneaking through. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. And while you can really just see the difference in the trees, this is from the base game. It's actually from one of the DLCs, the University Campus Content Creator Pack, versus this new one that just came out. Amazing. So much better. So much better. Now, I think the last thing we will do, this is something I would want if I lived along here, is we're going to put a privacy fence just running all the way behind here. And I think this will kind of frame things off. See if we can sneak that in there. Oh, we lost our dirt path. Let's come back in. And let's put that back in. It's dirt path. It's nice and easy to put back in. See? And there we go. One dirt path. Beautiful. Beautiful. So have a look-see here. We already got a lot of traffic. Actually, pedestrian traffic coming along here, which is really nice. This is starting to come together. We built this nice little reserve area as well. We're going to have more of that coming up. I have plans for over here as well. And we'll continue to build out this little community area before we jump back, I think, to finishing off our university campus. It's looking good. And we do need to add some city services in, because this back building here is a level 5 and it is not happy. And let me tell you, it is not happy that, that's all they have here. This nice little commercial district. We do have police and fire and ambulance service, but that is not enough. So we're going to have to put in some other city services, some parks, some elementary schools, and maybe a bit of a high school. And as well, I think we've got a plan for this as well that'll really tie this in. And the reason why that's important, if we come out here, and have a look at our terrain, you will see that this really starts to come down, and I don't really want to build anything here. We will have a road kind of traversing this to come over here as well. And there you can see, not happy, low land value. So that will be our next episode, increasing our land values in this area. So with that being said, we'll leave you with a brief cinematic. And until next time, bye for now.